You know what I find quite funny? Konami just gave us two awesome new skills for Yuma and Astral that basically take a page right out of Goku's book and make them go full Super Saiyan. And I see a ton of people messing around with these skills and having an absolute blast. And even after about a week's gone past, I'm still out here ignoring all that fun stuff and thinking, where should I stuff a Tenki next? I can't tell if I'm just a really boring person or if I'm just really depressed over one of my favourite decks, IRL Fire Fist, being about as fun to play in Duel Links as replacing your toilet paper with sandpaper. So I guess I'm just desperate to make use out of one of their cards at least. So what archetype have I decided to stuff Tenki into today? Yosenju. This archetype actually received a huge buff with the release of Tenki, as excluding one, the entire core of this archetype is a level 4 Beast Warrior monster, meaning that with Tenki now included in the list, you can now search for nearly half the deck list. Tenki, as you guys are probably full aware now, when activated can add any level 4 or lower Beast Warrior monster to hand, and it also gives a nice little 100 attack boost to all your Beast Warrior monsters. The Yosenju archetype itself is pretty straightforward. It's based around normal summoning monsters whose effects allow you to normal summon again. With multiple Yosenjus on board, you gain access to various effects, such as Kama 1 can return face-up cards to hand, 2 can attack directly, 3 searches a Yosenju card whenever a Yosenju deals damage, and Izna draws a card. Then, at the end of the turn, all your Yosenju monsters return to hand, leaving your board completely open, and this enables all your back row. Sword Sting, when your board is empty, can return up to 2 face-up cards to hand based on the amount of Yosenjus you reveal from hand. And of course, since your board is empty, we also run triple Drowning Mirror Force, which can send all attack position monsters back into the deck when your opponent declares a direct attack. Alright guys, that's it for the decklist portion of the video. The rest of the video will be gameplay with commentary of the decklist in action. Remember, if you guys did enjoy the content, feel free to leave a like, and if you would like to see more content from me, feel free to hit the subscribe button down below. Enjoy the gameplay! Alright, so let's get into it. So I played 10 games with this list, and I won 8 of them. Which isn't exactly the largest sample size, but it's an easy 80% win, right? Alright, so first matchup was against Blue Eyes. Big shocker there. Again, I think most of my replays today were against Blue Eyes players, just because it's just the most popular deck on ladder. So you play 10 games, at least 4 of them will be Blue Eyes matchups. Alright, starting off with a double Drowning Mirror Force. My opponent sets a bunch of cards. Now, I could normal summon a monster here, but it's most likely just going to get him a free Karma cut or something. If you give him a Karma cut, gets him the Spirit Dragon, or the Stone Grave to summon the Spirit Dragon and banish a card. So I think I just pass here. Yeah, I just passed. And I'm just going to keep passing because I want him to make the play first. I don't want to waste one of my back row into a Spirit Dragon. I want him to summon a monster and get it removed. It's unlikely he normal summons a Spirit Dragon, so yeah. So he summons an alternative. I don't summon an alternative, sorry. He summons the Twin Head, whatever its name is. Twin Burst. And since we're returning it to hand, it just gets returned to extra deck. 5 formation Tenki, searching for Izna. Or Izna. Did I say a Cyber Angel card name? I think I did. Alright, Providence, negate. Sadly, now he does actually have a Stone Engrave, so we're gonna lose our Drowning. And because our monster was negated, we didn't get an extra summon. Very sad. Bye bye Drowning. But at this point, because he waited so long, we were allowed us to actually get more resources in hand to deal with what he's got. So although our board is now empty, at least we have a Kiteroid and whatever else. We draw a bunch of stuff. We're just in a much better state than if we just tried to get our stuff out turn 1 and get ourselves negated. Now this was the strangest synchro summon I've seen. For whatever reason, this guy decides to synchro summon into Vermilion. Now, Tenki, once it's already been used, it's useless. It doesn't do anything. He gives me 100 attack to my monsters, that's it. But he decided he wanted a Vermilion for some reason. Maybe he was scared of more back row in the future or something? I don't know. This was such a weird call. Especially considering when you play against Yosenju, you know they run a Kiteroid, so you really want the other dragon now? I forgot what it's called. The dragon that negates graveyard effects. But for some reason they're just nah. We're just gonna destroy the card that's already been used. So I'm pretty sure he actually destroys it here too, I think. If I remember correctly. Yeah, he just... Why? What? You know what, fine. He got rid of it. You got me. Swings into a Kiteroid. Did he also choose, like... Man, I guess the stones are more useful later on, but he just removes his own tuner from board, so there's no more tuner. I don't know. A weird guy. Alright, so I try to summon a monster, it gets negated again. Feels bad, man. Doesn't really matter to me, I've still got Kiteroid and I've got Oyam in hand. And typically, Blue Eyes players don't have attack buffs or anything, so they can't even get over the Oyam, generally. So it looks like this guy was only running 2 Blue Eyes, or he had one in hand or something. Because he sent another stone there and didn't get a special summon off, so I assume he just doesn't have another Blue Eyes, or is... either it's in hand. Swings in, we Kiteroid him. I didn't want to get rid of the 2 monsters in hand, so I decided not to Oyam there. Because if you don't have 2 monsters in hand, you can't use either of these guys' effects. They both need a Yosenju, like, with them. So if I used the Oyam, discarded a Yosenju there, yeah, it would have been bad. Draw a card, return that back to the extra deck. At this point, he's basically done, so. We've even got the 2 back row set up now. There's like nothing you can do. Tenki for a search. Normal summons 3 different monsters. He Karma cuts, that means absolutely nothing to us. We've already used our effect, so we can just keep normal summoning. And he's out of there. Alright, on to game 2. So next opponent, I don't remember what he was playing, I don't think. What were you playing? Oh yeah, I remember this guy. This guy was not happy about how this game went. This guy would not have been happy. Alright. So this guy was playing Water Xyz, or Fish Xyz, whichever one. Alright. So we search for Izna. Generally, if you're going first, Izna is better. Because if you search for Izna, on turn 1 you can't attack or anything, you can't do anything, so it's better just to draw a card for free. So you can special summon the Izna, draw a card. So if you're going first, always search Izna, it's just a free card draw. That's if you already have a Yosenju to special summon, or normal summon it again, that is. Because you need a second Yosenju on board for it. Set 2 macro, return both to hand. Right, so he gets an infantry, another infantry, territory of the sharks, and makes an Abyss Dweller. So now he has 2 quick play pops if he wants to use them. He attacks in, we use Drowning. There's the Bin Lance, and we chain a Sword Sting to it. He was very upset about this one. And he, out of just pure rage, removes my Tenki. What a bully. That actually must be the worst feeling, to swing straight into a, swing to some back row knowing you have the Bin Lance in hand, and then they just chain another back row to it. That must piss them right off. Alright, so this guy also misplayed here. I normal summoned a Yosenju. This is a quick tip for if you're playing against a Yosenju player. Thank you, that random card that just sped past my house. Alright, so a quick tip if you're playing as a Yosenju player. I summon a Yosenju monster, it uses its effect, it summons another Yosenju monster. He then activates Treacherous Now. This is bad, because I've already used my Yosenju effect, so these cards will both be destroyed, but I'll still normal summon a Yosenju. Meaning, it'll use its effect, and I'll summon the Izna. Whereas if he used this after these guys had finished and had 3 monsters on board, he would Treacherous, he'd destroy 2, and I'd just be left with 1. You'll see what I mean in a sec. So, it destroys both of them, and now because I have more board space, I can summon Yosenju, it summons the other Yosenju, like that. Whereas if I still had the 2 monsters on board, this guy's effect wouldn't have summoned the Izna, it would just had 3 monsters on board, then he Treacherouses, I'd be left with 1. So let the Yosenju player finish summoning his monsters before using the Treacherous, generally. Not that it really mattered this game, I think this guy was doomed either way, but just something to know. Alright, next up. Now, is this another Blue Eyes player? I reckon it was. Yep. And I remember this game pretty well, I think. There's one really great moment in it. There's a lot of them using gameplay at the start too. Alright, so he set the drowning. Now this is pretty amusing, right? He summons Alternative Eyes. I'm like, okay, well, we'll put that back in the deck. We don't like Alternative Eyes. Get him out of here. Pass the turn. Excuse me? Excuse me? Didn't I just put you back in the deck? Hello? Wait, what's going on here? What's this about? Literally top deck this the card I just put back in his deck. Brilliant. This guy must have like an absolute fat brick though. Just no tuners being summoned at all. Or maybe he's just like seeing on a Karma and doesn't want to summon the tuner. He wants to use it with the Karma card or something. I don't know. This is weird. Like when Yosenju, I don't mind just letting him just draw a bunch of cards and I draw a bunch of cards. Me drawing a bunch of cards is more stall resources and more... Yeah, it's more access to my Yosenju pieces. So he had this tuner in the hand probably the whole time. I don't know. Vermilion? So this Vermilion makes more sense as I actually have back row to destroy. I suppose the last guy's Vermilion. Of course, we Sword Sting it, return it to hand. Uses the Ancients. This is very aggressive. So summons Alternative again. Now I think this guy doesn't know what Drowning Mirror Force is, because he knew this card wasn't activatable, so I assume he just thought, oh, he's just baiting me, that's like a Cosmic or something. So he just went full in here, full ham. If you get to Yosenju player and there's a card that's not activatable, chances are, it's a Drowning Mirror Force. Don't do what this guy did, this was very dumb. This was just like, yeah, full ham. Oh god. Twin Burst and Alternative. Oh, and there's a nut. Get it back in the extra deck. Now he's just out of resources and we can just roll him. Also, at this point, I was pretty sure this was Treacherous because he wasn't activatable. Like, that's like the only other trap card they run that isn't like Karma Cut. So I assumed it was Treacherous Trap Hole. Yeah, it could have also been a negate maybe or something, but I was pretty sure it was Treacherous. So I played straight into the Treacherous, but I didn't really care at this point, because like if even if Treacherous is here, we still get the third monster, we still get some damage in, I didn't care. It's better than just summoning one monster at a time. Yeah, it was Treacherous. For some reason he killed the direct attackers, which is kind of odd, but whatever. Oh yeah, so I made this play because if I didn't do this, I didn't have a guaranteed, because I only had Karma. Obviously I could just delay it a bunch, but if I summoned the Karma, I had no other Yosenju to return this to hand with, so I couldn't actually get rid of this monster. But I kind of used my big brain. I thought this guy would be kind of dumb, which he was. So I summoned the Oyam. If he trades into the Oyam, I get a search for the direct attacker anyway. He's got 400 life points, so even if he had another monster on board, he was dead. So... But he had to be dumb for this and swing into this thing from the first place, otherwise he could have just delayed more. He could just not attacked here, but... He's like, oh yeah, have a free draw. There's my Karma Cut 2, and he's dead. Oh, my Karma Cut 2. My Karma 2, sorry. Alright, this one. Alright, so someone was definitely a Harpy player. Alright, old Macho, what do you got for me? I think actually this is a good matchup into Harpy if they don't have Harpy's Hunting Ground. Because like Finland isn't that great into the deck. And they don't really run a whole lot of actual back row removal outside of that. Oh yeah, so like I said before, in the first draw, whatever it was, with Tenki, search Izna or Izna because I'm going first. Even if I search the one that's generally better, because it swings, it gives you a search. I forgot its name. The other Yosenju, I think it's Yosenju Kama 3. The one that can attack. Well, when another Yosenju does damage, it searches the Yosenju card. Generally that card's like a better card, but you can't use its effect going first, because you can't do damage. So it's better to search Izna, just give you a free draw, pass the turn. Sadly got no back row though, which is kind of tragic. Yep, so Egotist, he's got like nothing to do here, because Harpies like to return stuff to hand, and I've got nothing to return to hand. This guy had a pretty bad start though, because he had like no back row set. With no back row, like, what do you even do? Swings into the Oyam, gives me a search. See, there's a Kama 3. We get 3 normal summons. Gets to return, and he's very dead here. He's out there. Alright, final game. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I think this was probably the worst of the replays from the 10 games, but I'll just stick it in here anyway, just so we get to 5. And so far, like, all the decks that we played against were meta, other than this one. And I guess this just shows what this deck's like against decks that are not meta. No competition. So Kama 1, Izna, Search, Tenki, Search as well. This was probably bad. I should have used the Tenki first, because when I use the Izna draw, it has a chance to draw the card that I just searched with the Tenki, whereas I could have just used the Tenki search and have less chance of drawing into one of these again. I don't know. Probably doesn't really matter, like, at all. Actually, maybe the search was better last. I don't know. I think it really just doesn't matter at all. So he's trying out the new Fire Formation cards in his Bujin deck, which is another great card for Tenki, so I assume he's running it, but sadly, we have our Sword Sting, both return to hand. And he's dead. Alright, so that's it for the gameplays. I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content from me. And yeah, hope to see you in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.